Hi, everyone, and welcome to English Boost, the podcast where we talk about making the most of our time while juggling work, family, and personal growth. Today, we have a special guest, Janet, who is a working mother of three and a project manager. She's here to share her strategies for staying organized and productive. Welcome, Janet.
Hi, Emma. Thanks for having me. I'm excited to share some tips that have really helped me manage my busy schedule.
So, Janet, you have a lot on your plate. How do you decide what to do first every day?
Prioritization is key. Prioritization means deciding what is most important and needs to be done first. Every morning, I make a to-do list and categorize tasks into three groups: urgent, important, and optional.
That sounds like a great approach. Could you give an example?
Sure. If I have a work deadline and a doctor's appointment for my child, those are urgent. Grocery shopping might be important, but can be done later, and reorganizing my closet is optional.
That makes a lot of sense. Do you use any specific tools or apps to help with prioritization?
Yes, I use digital tools like Trello or Notion to organize my tasks. I also love using a simple paper planner where I can physically check things off. It gives me a sense of accomplishment.
What about unexpected tasks that suddenly come up? How do you handle those?
I always leave some flexibility in my schedule. I try to allocate at least 20 to 30 minutes as buffer time between tasks so that I can address urgent issues without throwing my whole day off balance.
That makes sense. How do you make sure you don't feel overwhelmed by everything?
I use time blocking. Time blocking means planning your day by assigning specific hours to tasks instead of switching between them randomly. It means setting specific time slots for different tasks. For example, from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m., I focus only on work. Then I take a 15-minute break to refresh my mind before moving to the next task.
That's a great tip. I think many of us struggle with distractions. Do you have any tricks for staying focused?
Yes, I set a timer for each task and put my phone on silent mode. I also make sure my workspace is clutter-free to avoid distractions.
What about unexpected interruptions? How do you handle those?
That's a great question. I always leave some buffer time in my schedule to handle emergencies or last-minute changes. If something urgent comes up, I adjust my time blocks accordingly, but try not to let it throw off my entire day.
Have you ever struggled with procrastination? How do you deal with it?
Absolutely. One trick I use is the 2-minute rule. If a task takes less than 2 minutes, I do it immediately. For bigger tasks, I break them down into smaller steps so they don't feel overwhelming.
You have a family to take care of, too. How do you balance work and family life?
Communication is essential. My husband and I share a calendar so we know each other's commitments. I also delegate household chores to my kids in a way that matches their abilities. To delegate means to give tasks to other people so that you don't have to do everything yourself.
That's really smart. Do you ever feel guilty about not being able to do everything?
Sometimes. But I remind myself that being productive doesn't mean doing everything alone. It's about managing time well and making sure I also have moments to rest and recharge.
How do you make sure you have time for self-care?
I schedule self-care just like any other task. Even 15 minutes of reading or a short walk can make a big difference. It's important to take care of yourself so you can take care of others.
What about social life? Do you schedule time for friends and hobbies?
Definitely. I try to schedule at least one social activity every week, even if it's just a quick coffee with a friend. Staying connected with others helps prevent burnout and keeps me motivated.
Before we wrap up, Can you share your top 3 productivity tips for our listeners?
Absolutely. First, plan your day the night before to start fresh in the morning. Second, use time blocking to stay focused and avoid multitasking. Third, don't be afraid to ask for help and delegate tasks when possible.
Those are fantastic tips. Do you have a favorite motivational quote that keeps you going?
Yes, I love this one. You don't have to be perfect, just consistent. Small daily improvements add up to big results over time.
Thank you, Janet. These are fantastic strategies. And to our listeners, if learning English feels like just another task on your list, remember that even 10 minutes a day can make a big difference. Consistency is more important than perfection. Keep going, and soon you'll see progress. Thanks for tuning in to English Boost. This podcast helps you improve your English while learning useful life skills. Keep practicing and stay motivated. If you enjoyed this episode, subscribe and share it with a friend. See you next time.